Okay, hello, welcome to this special meeting dedicated for House of Fun, and we will be just talking about an important interfaith and interreligious project, which is based in Berlin in Germany. And this will be a great opportunity for all of us to learn about this project. As you know, this is a meeting co-organized by Religions for Peace, the Italian chapter, Istituto Tevere, Beth Hillel community, Jewish community of Rome, and of course, House of Fun. This project is linked to a European project, extremely united, and that's why it has really a European dimension to it too. And tonight we have really special guests, and we will be doing this meeting actually between two cities of Europe, Rome and Berlin. And we are three people from Rome and three people from Berlin. And that could be, I guess, also a very good opportunity to exchange our experiences at European level and experience in interfaith and interreligious dialogue. And this project, very ambitious project, our House of Fun, is a very concrete project to promote mutual understanding and to promote, peace, dialogue, and social cohesion in our European society and elsewhere. And I would like to introduce our guest speakers before they actually take the microphone. And before everything else, before just going to our speakers of Berlin, we start with a greeting from Rome. Tonight we have Franca, Coen Eckert, the president of Beth Hillel community and vice president of Religions for Peace. And I'm very honored, to present her. And because here we share Religions for Peace together. I'm part of Religions for Peace, and then also I'm the project ambassador of House of Fun, and that's why I really feel myself here being part of this. I will say the group of friends who are working together for interfaith dialogue at European level. Franca is a very good friend of different projects all over Italy. In the past, not only she worked in the field of education and interreligious dialogue, but directly she worked at the municipality of Rome and consulting to mayor of Rome, Walter Veltroni, for intercultural interreligious projects. And Franca, floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure having been invited to congratulate with the supporters and proponents of this wonderful initiative. I understand that this project has been studied for many years, and knowing how difficult it is to move forward and succeed in this field, especially during this period of COVID, I would like to applaud all the commitment of the people involved who so strongly believed in and succeeded to carry forward this initiative. Hospitality is the principle that unifies the Abrahamic religions. And maybe not only Abrahamic religion, but all religions. If we think that the Baha'i, for example, have 9 doors in their temples, and we know that Abraham's tent had 4 openings, precisely to make it easier to welcome people of various origins. And we remember that in the desert, the tabernacle that contained the Ark of the Covenant was also a tent. So the House of One was born with the aim of bringing Christians, Jews, and Muslims to worship in a single place, as the first step to prevent wars of religions that unfortunately so often have taken place in the last century. In particular, being one of the founders, like Cenap said, of Beth Hillel Roma, the first progressive Jewish community in Roma, I am happy to notice that one member of this project is Potsdam Geiger College. At the beginning of the community, since 2014, Rav Gomulka provided as a great help for us to get started. Okay, I must say that the interfaith dialogue within myself, you will be surprised, when I was only 6 years old. In fact, because of the Italian racial laws against Jews, I was supposed to be a nice Jewish girl only for my parents and a nice Catholic girl for all other people. I would have been, in fact, very dangerous to let people discover our Jewness. So, more seriously, my engagement, my interfaith dialogue continued and deepened during, like Cenap said, like my role as councillor of the municipality of Rome, as the mayor's delegate for multi-ethnic and intercultural policy from 2001-2008. With that administration, we established the Council of Religions of Rome with more than 20 recognized signature religions. Catholic did not formally join, maybe being already overrepresented, but all the other did. A key event brought 3,000 people in the Rome auditorium, together with the Nobel Peace Prize winners. This was a key moment of recognition for multicultural and interfaith dialogue. Thanks to your job. I learned about and collaborated with the Religion of Peace Italia and the Tevere Istituto, and with them I proceeded in this work after the municipality. And here I'm proud to be able to introduce this project that allowing the Abrahamic religions to pray one next to the other reflects comprehension, dialogue, and peace. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Franca. Thank you so much for this introduction, for this greeting. And we will be very, I think, just very encouraged to talk more now, to know more about House of Fun. And now from Rome, we are departing towards Berlin, and I would like to give the floor to Renate Franke, a volunteer member of the board and member of the St. Mary Church congregation. It is a Christian partner of House of One project. She's a facilitator for organization and development. And I would like to again warmly welcome Renate Franke among us. Please, Renate.
Thank you for this warm welcome, and thank you for the honor to present our project to your community and give us a chance to show you where we are meanwhile. We prepared a presentation which Esther will share with us in a few seconds, and to give you a short overview, I will in the beginning produce you the main idea of the project and a bit of the architecture. Then Esther Hirsch will show us or tell us something about the history of the site where the House of One is going to be built. And Osman will follow and tell us something about the activities. The idea is living already, even if the building is not there yet. And then in the end, I will present part of our cooperations, as the idea of the House of One is already spreading out into the world, and we have a lot of partners worldwide. So Esther now is showing her screen, sharing her screen with us, and going into the presentation mode. And the basic idea of the House of One, as you just said already, is to live peaceful under one roof, and to be peace, and the community of living peaceful together is in the idea to be a Jewish one, a Muslim one, and a Christian one. And but as we are living in a very secular society in Berlin, the secular society is also invited into our project, and also other religions. The basic idea is to learn and to pray with each other, and to learn from each other. The idea is that we learn and respect our differences, and also discover what we have in common. The idea of the House of One and the project is now about 10 years old, and it was developed and is held by 3 small congregations. And the 3 of us are here represent also these small congregations. I represent St. Mary's Church from Berlin, the Christian side of the project. Esther Hirsch represents the Jewish side of the project, and she belongs to Shukat Shalom, the congregation, another congregation, and Osman Örs represents the Forum Dialog, which is the Muslim partner of the House of One. And it is a kind of grassroots project, and this is very important for us as we develop it together, and also developing the idea represents already how we live together and how we cultivate our dialogue. And the basic idea of the House of One is represented in the architecture, as you can see here. You see a mosque, you see a synagogue, and you see a church. And in the middle, you see the basic hall, the assembly hall, the central hall. This is our dialogue space. This is the space where we meet and where we learn from each other, where we exchange ideas. And the idea is that we are allowed to ask every questions which come up into our mind. What we want to create is an atmosphere of curiosity and an atmosphere of the courage to ask everything you don't know and you want to know. And we are also prepared that we don't have answers on all the questions we have, and that we live together to find the answers. And as you said, you represent religions of peace. This is our contribution to a peaceful sign into the world. And there has been a competition to the architecture, and the House of One has already a look which you can see here, kind of street view, and the beginning of the construction work will be in the middle of this year. And we are very happy to be there and to start constructing and building the House of One from the mid of this year. And the House of One will be built, as you can see here, and also on the next picture, by bricks, and we call it bricks for eternity. It is built on bricks because this is also a reference to the place where where the House of One is built, as it is built on there has been churches before. Esther will show you in a few minutes, and the churches in Berlin have been built on bricks, and the bricks are a reference to the tradition of church, of sacred buildings in Berlin. And with this picture of how the facade will look one day in a very traditional manner of building it, I will hand over to Esther, who will tell you a little bit more about the history of the site.
Yes, thank you very much for this introduction of the idea of the House of One. I will tell you something about the history and the archaeology, because you have to know that the House of One will be built at the heart of Berlin, in the cradle of Berlin. And like Renate just mentioned, the laying of the foundation stone will take place in May the 27th, in this spring. And in this picture, you can see the archaeological site. In 2007, excavation started. And here are the clerics, the House of One clerics at the archaeological site and the construction site. And apart the foundations of the church, which was built there 800 years ago, there were found many artifacts from Berlin's 800-year history. And this remains the foundation of the old church and another 2 churches. And the artifacts of the history the artifacts of the people who lived there, they give us information about their lives, about the circumstances they lived in. And nearby the church was a cemetery. Countless bodies were found there. Don't be afraid, these bodies are already buried somewhere else in another cemetery. But we learned that people came from all over Europe. There are no genuine Germans, but they came from all over the country, all over Europe, and they came for different reasons. Or maybe I can say for the same reasons as people come today. They came for a hunger because of persecution, persecution of religion, and they came for trade, for a better future for themselves and for their children, and even for curiosity and even for love. They came and came with their families. And like I mentioned, our building will and our construction will take place in the heart of Berlin. And this is the map of an average history book. And maybe you can see here, it's there are some churches are in the map, and it's the church and the town hall, the church of St. Petri, where we will build, and in the middle, and the town hall and another church. And obviously the church documented the buildings and made the maps, and they documented these buildings they considered to be important. And this is another map, and this is the map taken from another book, the book Jewish History in Berlin. And then we learn something else. We learn about some more information. We see again the town hall and the churches, St. Petri, St. Nikolai. But here in the middle, it's called Judenhof. It's the district of the Jewish people of this century. And that means we changed the perspective. In this time, in the Middle Ages, already Berlin is already a multicultural city. There's a Jewish district, there are Jewish traders, there are so many people from everywhere. And why do we know it? We know it because of archaeology. This Jewish tombstone was found 20 years ago, and it's dated from 1244. And here is buried, you can see it in the fourth line, Jonah bar Dan. And it proved, for example, that there existed already a Jewish community. And it's not only the tombstones, but there are also edicts, for example, a ban for Jewish traders, it means for Christian traders, because they weren't allowed to buy their threads from Jews. That means there was already trade between Christians and Jews. And there was a competition, and the Jews were forbidden to sell their threads. And we know about the Jewish district and the Jewish people in this area in the middle of Berlin. But this was the beginning in the 13th century. But in the 15th, 16th century, it ended. Triggered by the plague, the pestilence, there was a very cruel trial in Berlin, and 15 Jews were murdered. They were tortured and burned to death, and the rest of the Jews were displaced forcefully, and there were no Jewish residents for the next 100 years. And this is a woodcut and by the Christian church. And maybe I can show you one picture here. We see this is the torture. There's a Jew who's cut into pieces. And after this trial, there were no Jews anymore. And this is the reason why we need archaeology, because the church had the documents, and they wrote down what's important for themselves. But there's another history, another perspective, and the archaeology tells us about this perspective, about the people who lived there, about the stories. There's another example I can tell you about perspectives and what happened to Jews. This is a painting of Max Liebermann. It's a famous Jewish German painter. And this picture was published in 1879 in Munich in an exhibition. And it shows the 12-year-old Jesus in the temple. What can we see? That Jesus is he talks with the rabbi, and he is fair-haired, and he has a light skin, and he has shoes on. But this is not the original painting. The original painting is here on the right side. He painted Jesus as a dark-haired boy. His figure is from a boy who has to work in the fields, and he has no shoes on because his father was a handyman, a carpenter. He was poor, but the people in this time couldn't imagine to see Jesus as a poor and dark-skinned boy. So Max Liebermann had to repaint or to overpaint this painting. And so the dark hairs changed to fair hairs, and the skin was brightened, and he got shoes. So we learn about the perspective, how stories are told. And this was in the Middle Ages, this was in the 19th century, and this is today. And so we need more activities, and this is the idea of the House of One, that it's not only the building we will build, but we will live in this building, we will have discussions and debates, and we need more activities to learn from each other. And so I want to ask Imam Osman Örs to tell us about the activities from the House of One.
Thank you, Esther. Good evening, everybody. Greetings to you. Yes, I think looking back at our own history, we are, and being aware of our own history, we are trying to build our future, actually. And we are also aware of our present. I mean, today we are Berlin. Today is not the Berlin of the past. Berlin today is very diverse. And so this reality we are living in is also one of our challenges of the House of One. And on the one hand, I mean, and from a personal point, I always say that, of course, we are now, and this is something we can be really proud of, I would say that we are now walking this way together for more than 10 years to build this house. And building this house is very important because it is, we see it when we feel it and we hear it from everywhere, that people are yearning for it, kind of. It's a hope, a symbol of hope for not only Berlin, but also for the rest of the world. But building the house is, of course, important. But I would also say and argue that more important than this body is, of course, to have a heart and a soul. And even if the house is not built yet, we are having our groundbreaking this May, God willing, and it will take a couple of years until it will be finished. But the important thing is we already have a soul and we already have a heart which is alive within the House of One. And this soul and heart, of course, was built for almost 10 years now, and it consists of course, trust and listening to each other and to hearing to each other, but also walking this way together. And on this point, of course, we are building this house to be aware of the challenges we are now also having within our society. And the House of One is and will be a place where we, people of faith, of different faith, can join, can come together, and also, like we see here in our pictures, come together for prayers, for instance. If there is a need, and there are, of course, need, like when we have a terrorist attack in Halle, or we have a terrorist attack in Hanau, or in Paris, in different cities around the world, we all feel the need to come together and to pray together for peace. And this is something we do for a couple of years now. And this is also something we see as a responsibility, of course, for the responsibility for us, people of faith. And therefore, this is something we are doing and we are discussing about. But this is also something even if we come together, we are also aware of not mixing something up. And that's important because we don't want to bring up any kind of new religion or so, but we are aware of our differences and our different colors, if you want, and traditions. And when we come together, we pray together within our own tradition, everybody after one another. So, and with this, I think also it's so important to say that the House of One will be a space. It will be a house, and it will be a space where for the diversity of our society, for Jews, for Muslims, for Christians, but also for people of other faith within the fourth room we have, and also for people who are non-religious, atheists, for instance. And therefore, on the one hand, we have a physical space we are building, and we have a social space, if you like. And on the other hand, we also kind of are building a spiritual space, a space which is filled with transcendency, if you like, where you can see, and where you can feel, and where you can encounter the different traditions we have, the religions we live. I think it's always kind of really enriching for myself if I have the opportunity, for instance, to be guest at a synagogue, like here, for instance, for a prayer, just to join and just to listen and to observe. And because you get a feeling how my friend, my Jewish friend, my Christian friend, you get aware of that the feelings I myself have within my own prayers, I think, is something we also share, because the feelings are the same. Just the ways we go are maybe different, but the feelings and our bond to God is something I always feel is really also something we share. And this is also, one of our challenges we have within the House of One, of course, but also being aware of our own diversity or diverse traditions. So there's also, like the mosque, for instance, I'm a member of a Sunni Muslim congregation, but the mosque, like the synagogue and the church, will also be diverse. The mosque will not only be for Sunni Muslims, but we are also wanted to open for Shia Muslims, for Muslims of different congregations. They also should be able to use this space, the sacred space, the mosque. this is also something, also challenge, of course, and a process of interreligious dialogue, if you want. So dialogue within our own traditions. This is also one of our a process which is also, of course, not finished, but it's going on. Yeah. And besides that, yeah, we have, of course, we have challenges, like a lot of social challenges and challenges within our own religions and traditions, and therefore we also see us as the responsibility for education, and therefore we also try to challenge, yeah, themes like that. For instance, women's roles in religions. Yeah, we had a workshop last year before Corona, which was really very. We had a lot of participants, men and women, but more women, I would say. And yeah, this is also a challenge we have within our old traditions, and that is something we have to also tackle and to talk about. I mean, every problem we have within our society, within our own congregations, if you don't talk about it, or if you don't have the space to talk about it, it won't be solved. And it's always kind of easier to solve problems, of course, when you talk about them together. And when you tackle them even together, then it's much more easier to tackle these problems we have. Yeah, and part of our activities we have right now also is, especially, yeah, before Corona, like here, different topics within our society, especially, for instance, on the one hand, anti-Semitism, which is very still relevant, of course, in Germany, and present, of course. Besides that, also Islamophobia is also, and also the rise of right-wing thoughts, I would say, is something we have all together to tackle. And these kind of themes and content, we are also being aware, and we have to, I think this is also something we as religions, yeah, we have to talk about them, and we have our own different approaches and problems with them. We have to talk about them, and we have to tackle it together, I think. Yeah. And I would also end with the educational work. Yeah, this is something we have a responsibility, of course, for our children. Our children are our future, actually, and we hope that the House of One will be a role model for them. But not having the house doesn't mean that we can't do educational work. We, for instance, me and my colleague, and we have a special education department within the house with volunteers, teachers who are working there. We go to schools, schools come to us, and we always go to them in an interfaith or interreligious, what do you say? So together, Jewish and Muslim and Christian, and we talk about our religions, the problems we have within our society. And this is something really fruitful, very fruitful for the children, because for them, it's the first time maybe they have the opportunity to meet a Jew and a Christian and a Muslim together. And being able to see and talk to them and knowing that they are building a house together is something really special always for the children. And this gives them, I would say, a perspective for the future. Yeah. And last but not least, yeah, we also had, before Corona, for instance, here you can see our Christian congregation, St. Mary. There was the tetragram, the Hebrew name of God, within the church, on the church actually, and the Nazis or Nazis, yeah, they destroyed it. They destroyed it and discovered it, and but 2 years ago, I think it was, that we, together with the congregation, my colleague Esther and our Rabbi Nechama, they were there, and they were again, yeah, happy that the name of God, the Hebrew name and letters of Him, is now written again. So we look back to our past, and we try to learn from our past and to learn from it for our future, to have a more peaceful future, and a future of more mutual understanding and respect. Yeah, I would hand over to Renate at this point.
Thank you. So you got an insight on our activities, and the activities we have in Germany, they also spread out, and we have cooperations all over the world in a way. And we want to name 3 here. There's one we have in Central Africa Republic, and you see the representatives here. It's a Catholic, a Muslim, and a Protestant. Unfortunately, Imam Kobine died this year, no? And but the situation in Central African Republic is difficult. It's a war nation, and it's a war which is especially between the different representatives of the churches here and of the religions, and together with them we are building a Maison de Paix in Central African Republic, in Bangui, and it is a cooperation together with students, together with people from Central Africa Republic, where we develop this project and give their and install there this interreligious dialogue as a contribution to peace. And besides this project in Central Africa, we have a cooperation with a Baptist community, a congregation in Georgia. And here you have a view of the Peace Cathedral in Georgia, which is also in a rebuilding state. And this will be also a kind of house of one, as a synagogue will be built there, and a mosque. And you see it's a lot of handcraft, and they are very ambitious and very continuously working on this project with the resources they have. And in Georgia, the situation of the interfaith dialogue started with the Muslim refugees coming to Georgia again, and the Baptist congregation of Georgia is very much in lead for this peaceful dialogue. And the situation for Muslim people in Georgia is not easy, for Jewish also not, and also it's difficult for the Yazidi people who are there. And you see on the right side of this picture, you see Bishop Malchas, who is bishop of the Baptist community in Georgia, and then you see a Yazidi partner, and then you see Gregor Hoberg, who is from the House of One Germany, from the Christian side, and you see Rosudan, who is the first female bishop in Georgia. And the Yazidi people are also refugees in the region, and the House of One Georgia, the Peace Cathedral, is taking care of them and trying, and cooperating with them. And with Georgia, we established a students' exchange. There is a peace academy in Georgia where they train young people from Muslim, Christian, Jewish, Yazidi tradition in interreligious and interfaith dialogue. And we visited them with students from the different religions from Germany. And here you see a picture of us being there from Georgia, from Germany, and from all the different religions. And this is an exchange program we did once now, one time in Georgia. We have been there, and then they have been here to see how different interreligious dialogue is in the different countries and to learn from each other. And it's a very, you can see it, people were very enthusiastic about this project. This is our partner, our cooperation in Georgia, and then we are now starting a new cooperation with Haifa. And the idea in Haifa is to build a garden of one. So it won't be a house of one, it will be a garden of one. And there will be a project of students from the university in Haifa and the University of MIT in Boston in the United States, and they will develop a prototype for a garden of one, which then will be first built in Haifa. And in Haifa, for instance, there's, besides the Muslim, Christian, and Jewish partners, there are the Baha'i people in the project, integrated as Baha'i has a temple in Haifa and it is represented there. So these are just examples to show you how the idea is spread into the world and how we cooperate, and how also the idea, the basic idea and concept of the House of One adapts to the situation in the different countries. Yeah, last but not least, often at the end, at the latest, the question is, how is the project financed? And it is financed by crowdfunding, and we have worldwide support. As you can see here, we get donors and funds from all over the world, and it also shows how the idea is spread out and is recognized in the world. And we are very humbled by this, and very in a way we are proud, but it makes us humble that the project has so much recognition worldwide. And what people can do is they can donate us a stone, a brick, one of our bricks for eternity. And then they can send us messages, and you can see here that these messages also come from all over the world and also from different religions. And we have here one from Italy, and which you can see on the right corner, and there's for instance one in the middle from the Netherlands, which is for instance from a Catholic person. And we selected these sentences to show you that the House of One is also seen by different religions, by different nations, by people from different age. So it is diverse in its recognition, and this is what we are standing for, and what delights us. And come and build. There's also the wish, whenever you feel supporting us, we are happy for the bricks you bring into our project. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for giving us the chance to present the project here. And I hand over now to...
Thank you, Renate, Esther, Osman. A lovely presentation. I mean, it's a great opportunity for all of us, to learn this project from you, and because you're not only just involved in the project with your knowledge, with your background, but as I see, and just for your examples, you're very activist of interreligious, intercultural dialogue. I think that makes a big difference, that we can just have the direct access, to this information, bringing together the theoretical background with the practical living of dialogue. Before moving to the Q&A part among us, and then just some friends who maybe just ask some questions in the channels, we would like to finish this moment of presentations with final remarks from President of Religions for Peace Europe and President of Religions for Peace in Italy, Dr. Luigi de Salvia. Luigi de Salvia is a very active person of dialogue all over Europe and representing in international meetings our Italian chapter of Interreligious for Peace. And also he has a very special attention, especially in our association, to create multicultural, multi-religious spaces in hospitals, in public spaces. Luigi, please, the floor is yours. The microphone, Luigi, please. Thank you.
Sorry, I was thanking Cenap and saying good evening to everybody. I'm so glad to be with you because I feel at home in what you have prepared and built and explained us. We are in a special period now, so I want to give our my wish from Religious for Peace to the Jewish friends for Pesach, and also to the Christian friends for Easter. So let's go to this wonderful project. Sometimes we say that Hashem, that Lord cannot be contained within a place, within a material place. Yes, this is true. We say that that this presence is in the intimate of ourselves. This is true, but we also have to say that when we feel this presence, this link with the transcendent, and also with how to say, with a kind of friendship, of trust toward transcendent. In fact, in some traditions we say. In Jewish, we say Avenu Elohenu. In Christianity, our Father, speaking of the transcendent. Well, when we have when we feel this presence, this also as an inspiration for giving signs of this. So the architecture of the place of worship, the church, the synagogue, the mosque, and also other temples, they are important special places for us. And yours is very special because you accepted this challenge of unity. In the name of the so-called one, you take on your shoulders the challenge of unity. And so the challenge of the coexistence. As you know, also among brothers, we can have tensions, conflicts. So our permanent responsibility is to respond with good action, with the responsibility of reconciliation. And you give a great sign for this. So your house of one, which I would say our house of one, is also house for unity. And as you expressed very well, it's a source of unity for outside, for all the people of other religions, people of no religions. So this is the house of the respect of the sacred of life. This is what can unite we as people of all religions and every responsible person in fostering peace and good coexistence. So I think we will be partners of your project. We will make propaganda for these bricks. And so also it's symbolic that we build with pain. With pain, we bring brick after brick, our life and everything. So it's very highly symbolic, and we, by sure, will contribute to all this. Sometimes we say at the Psalm that our rock is Hashem, is the Lord, is the God, as we say in different ways. When these bricks, these stones are joined not only from the collapse. But with this spirituality, this responsibility of unity, it becomes really our rock, yes, as we say, that essentially is God and not transient phenomenon in where we are. So my best wish, I hope that we or some of us will be present at the official inauguration of the House of One. I was lucky. It was 2 years before. 2 years ago, before the pandemic, we had a meeting of delegates of Religions for Peace in Berlin, and I could pass very, very close to the place where it's going to be built, this House of One. And I was in a taxi with a Jewish friend and with a Muslim friend outside. I said, "Oh, here there is the place for this fantastic symbol." Symbol is a very important thing, because symbol means per se this kind of effort for unity in order to joy of the fruit of unity, which is the coexistence, which is the friendship that we can build going over the hostility that are very normal every day, in every place, in every occasion. So last thing, I'm glad that also our panel respects the gender equality. We are 3 and 3. This is a very nice and also symbolic thing. I want to remember that when I started with this experience of meeting friends, people of other religions in my own hospital where I was working, Ophthalmic Eye Hospital of Rome, and we invited this, our intention, not for ideological reason of the quote or Rosa quote, but for having a full harmony. We invited women and men and in pair number, but not for, as I was mentioning, for ideological reason, because it's a richness to have this challenge, because only from the challenge, only from climbing to the mountains, we can see wonderful spectacles. And yes, so thank you so much, and all the best for you. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Luigi, and thank you so much reminding us these holidays. Now we are in mid of Pesach, and tomorrow Triduum is starting with Holy Thursday and Good Friday and Holy Saturday. And also we are living at this moment the Orthodox Lent, and that they will just celebrate Easter on the 2nd of May, and Ramadan will start in less than 10 days. So this just actually a very good spirit of House of One that we are living at this moment. We have a little bit time left for questions. You can also ask questions among you, but I have already seen some questions. Just also some greetings. I really thank you for this. I had no idea just about this news about from Haifa. Renate just mentioned us. So the Baha'i faith, because a friend of us from Baha'i community, part of Religions for Peace, Professor Maria Augusta Favalli, sends her regards to all of us. And a friend from Slovenia just make congratulations. There's a question from Michael Schmidl, and he asked, will the House of One also be open for non-monotheistic religions? At the beginning, it was a little bit mentioned, I guess, but maybe you can just clarify it further. And another question I have, and just I'm finishing, I read another from another channel, I read this question. Do you have a message to say, or for those who criticize this project? I mean, I think they would like to hear criticisms, or what would be your response towards criticisms? Thank you. I don't know, just you can just choose who would respond to questions.
Yes, first I want to say thank you so much, Luigi, for your kind words. This is the completely idea of House of One. And but this time we will build, because I think of Pesach, this time we won't build a building like as slaves, but in freedom and for freedom, the freedom for other religions. And yes, for your question, it will be a house not only for the one, but for the one world, not only for the one God, for the one world in which we live. And that means that the middle room, the room of encounter, is the largest room. And I think it's the most important room, because it will be possible for everybody to encounter, and everybody who will step in isn't in a religious room, but in the room of the society, of everybody. And so we just have exchange with other religions. And in this room, we will have our meetings, our encounter, but also the possibility, it's the room of possibilities, the possibility for everybody to show what he wishes to show. If it's an exhibition, a concert, or a meeting, things like that. Yes, we will have that.
Maybe to add just something to this, the central room of encounter will be free of any religious symbolism. So it will be neutral also. And therefore, yeah, people of other faiths are very welcome also to use this space. And that's the idea. So, and also the House of One, actually from outside, if you look at it from outside, it is also a neutral building. You can't decide whether is it a mosque, is it a church, or is it a synagogue. It is something unique and but neutral, but the richness and the richness of our religions and traditions you encounter when you go inside, of course, and you have the opportunity to choose where you go and yeah, what you want to encounter and what you want to learn more about. Just to add this, and what's about the criticism you mentioned, maybe we are happy about any kind of criticism. Actually, I think as long as it is criticism which is constructive, we listen to criticism, and criticism is always something we don't put it away, but we take it and we really kind of reflect on it and look what is it really about and what can we learn about it, or what can we do better. Yeah, we are not perfect. We also make mistakes, and we are aware of the sensibility or sensitiveness of others, and yeah, and we take this also into account, of course. And yeah,
maybe to add, the project and the idea wouldn't be unique if there wouldn't be any critics. Yeah, so it shows it shows how important this project is, and all the critics helps us to communicate. And it is, and it shows us that it's not only an inter-religious, it's also an intra-religious dialogue, which is important.
yeah. Yes. And yeah, if there's another question, you can.
Yes, and besides, we are not every time of the same opinion, but there's a lot of fun to struggle to argue, but with respect. I love arguing.
Yeah, maybe I would also kind of say something about. I mean, we are, God thanks, we are not alone. We are aware that there are a lot of people around the world like you. Yeah, you are in Rome and you are aware of the need of dialogue. And this is always something which also gives us strength. And when we meet people from other places, other countries, and see their motivation and their engagement, this is something we really need. And maybe to bring just one example or allegoration, which we can which fits in this. One of the honorable Muslim scholar Said Nursi, he once said, or he brings the example of if we just have one and we add to one another one, then 1 + 1 is 2. If you add another one, it's a 3, and if you add another one, it's a 4. Like we have 4 rooms in the house of one. But if these ones not are added to each other, but actually go hand in hand to each other, and they stand next to each other, shoulder by shoulder, then they are not 4, actually, they make up 1,111. They might make up a big number. And this is how I see it, like we all have maybe just one voice, but if we put our voices together, hand in hand, around the world, with other initiatives, and then I think we can be a very loud voice and change also the world to a better.
Thank you very much, Osman. I think we are we're just actually at the end of our time. It was a really great moment for all of us to host you as Religions for Peace, Beth, Hillel, Roma, and Istituto Tevere. And it was a great opportunity for all of us, to meet with you, especially in this period of Pesach and the Easter. And we wish you all the best. And thank you very much for your participation, Franca, Renate, Esther, Osman, Luigi. And I'm sure, and I'm very hopeful that we will have also some further meetings about the House of One in Rome and somewhere in Italy. And we would like to also visit you in Berlin as soon as possible. Thank you very much. And thank you again for your participation.
Thank you, and always welcome.
Thank you. And I thank all the participants who watch us in YouTube and Facebook. Thank you very much.
Dankeschön, und auf Wiedersehen.
Vielen Dank.